everybody, it's time to LOL. Listen out loud, that is. It's time for Anime Jam Session with DJ Ranma S, Mako-chan, and Ari Rockefeller.
Hey everybody, welcome to Anime Jam Session, episode number 621. And I apologize for the delay and how late we got started. I should have said something, but the audio settings on my machine is in utter whack. Thankfully, I will be doing a clean install this weekend to fix things, and I think my front monitor lights are a little bit too bright, so I just had to turn it down some. I know I was shining that hard. That's not good. Oh, God. Sorry for the lateness, everybody. We're here. We're going to get the show on the road. So how is everybody doing tonight?
Doing all right, I guess.
So I totally, totally do. Oh, man. I mean, we're not even on for like 10 minutes and already they want to throw ads in here. Could you at least wait an additional 5 minutes for throwing the ads in? Thank you.
I can't even get Twitch to load.
What the hell is going on tonight?
Is there still audio issues?
Not to my issues, because the audio is fine, the video is fine, but Mako's having issues opening the Twitch page.
Yeah, everything pops up as failed to load module.
Well, try in private mode, you know? I mean, between that and, my normal soundboard not working, I figure since I don't have to go anywhere Saturday except with some friends out to dinner, that's it. I figure I'll spend the whole day just getting everything together so we could be things back to the way it was. And looks like the screen has fixed itself, so I'm not shining so. Would have thunk it. Anywho, let's go ahead and get the show on the road because we are way late tonight. I apologize for that. We are live tonight, week of February 13th, 2024, right here on Twitch TV. We're live here Tuesdays from 9 to 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You will always find us at Twitch TV/Anime Jam Session. We're also proud to be part of the Voice of Geeks Network at VogNetwork.com, and they're also on Twitch. You can find them at Twitch TV/VogNetwork, and come hang out with us in our Discord. Discord at VogNetwork.com/Discord. I think that's it. Wait, did we do our intro of introducing everybody or no?
Huh?
Did we introduce? Did we
introduce everyone? What do you mean by that?
Did we do our normal intro? Because I don't remember saying Ari is out tonight.
No, you didn't mention Ari being out.
All right, so I'm DJ Ron Mess.
I'm Barry Mellon.
And I am Mako-chan.
And Ari is out tonight due to work. Yeah, all right, there we go. I'm going through the rundown. I was like, wait a minute. I don't think we introduced ourselves like how we normally do on every episode. This whole delay got me really thrown off. Jesus. Anywho, let's see if we can catch up for lost time here as we go through everything here. So now we're going to get into how was your week? How was your day? Mako.
My week was kind of okay. This weekend we started working on the house again. So I have the tentative shell of a bench in my bar area now. So that just has to be finished and then I can stain it. And then, there was all the snow today and they never closed my office. And because I live an hour away from work, I had no idea how bad it was over by work. So there were just tons and tons of accidents. And luckily I made it to work. And by the time I came home, it was all cleaned up.
I was feeling that because when I left this morning, I was like making my way through and going up to work. And then when I was leaving, I'm like, wow, the bulk of the snow is gone. Because I left, I wore my swacket and my heavy jacket. But when I was coming back home from work, I was more or less sweating in it. I'm just like, I think I'm way too hot wearing all of this. And I'll get into some about that in my little thing. All right. Barry, how was your week? How was your day? How was your month? How have you been?
Uh, it's been kind of busy, I guess. It's just been a matter of keeping busy with a lot of work and catching up on client things.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, today we had a bit of a celebration for, the holiday coming up. So I hope that everybody's been able to enjoy some of their own time doing that. But yeah, that's pretty much how it's been. It's just been a lot of, I guess, programming and stuff. So
Right,
a
right.
lot of computer work.
Gotcha. So my weekend day has been usual work as per normal. This weekend I sent out another batch of belated Christmas gifts, and I have like a paper bag of what's left. I have 3 gifts left, so because I have like a 4-day weekend coming up. Actually, it's like 3.5 because Friday we get out at 1, but I'll be working late because we have a bit massive move to do, so that's some guaranteed OT there. So so in between there, I will be rebuilding Daitenchi. That. What else did I do over the weekend? Basically, I want to say I stayed home. I just bummed around and did laundry, and I had a lot of laundry to do. Last night, I decided to go to like some type of Valentine's party. I just went, hung out, had a good time. I think I drank a little bit too much, and well, got up late, but I made my way to work. Thankfully, this is the case where the snow was in my favor, so everybody's late going in. And what's funny is, it was at least no more than 20 people in the office. So what they do is they cater lunch for everybody, and they order enough and a little bit extra. So if you time it right after you eat lunch, you go back, grab another plate or whatever, and that's dinner. That's fine. But because of the weather, they couldn't cancel the order, so there was just mountains of salads just sitting there. So thankfully, they found somebody to take them off their hands, which is a good thing. And then and the reason why that happened was HR sent the email out about the impending weather, basically telling people, talk to your managers about working from home. So it was basically like tumbleweeds rolling through the office. So, and the funny thing is, I think around 3 o'clock, like 2:30, 3 o'clock, it stopped snowing.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to last all day.
Because first,
it was really, really bad driving wise.
I mean, first they said up to 12 inches, and then late last night, around when the warning kicked in, they said around between 6 to 8 inches. Fine. And there are a lot of people at my job who were, I wasn't out of towners, but they're implants to New York City. So I kept telling them, as long as the MTA doesn't say the subway is shutting down, you ain't got shit to worry about. But if they send out the notification that they're shutting down the subways, you have at least 2 hours to get home, because that's when they'll start pulling everything in. So, and I think, like, as far as I've been riding the subways, I think they've only done that like 3 times, something like that. Anywho, enough about that. Let's see. Let's keep it going. Get into some housekeeping here. Give you some updates on to what's going on with us. Don't forget, episodes of Anime Jam Session are available on our YouTube page. Episodes for the podcast goes up Thursdays at 12 noon. Perfect to check out older episodes and episodes that are not available in our usual archive. So that. And don't forget that episodes of... No, I already did that. Oh, there it goes. It seems like the rundown was a little delayed or something like that, but looks like it's working for us. Good. And don't forget, our first convention of the year is coming up next month. Where does the time go? ZenkaiCon, March 22nd to the 24th at the Lancaster County Convention Center. We're not doing panels this year, but we'll be hanging out, doing photography, enjoying panels, recording stuff, doing interviews and all that stuff. So please come through and have a good time, And if you see one of us, say hi. And if you see me, I'll definitely take your picture if you like. Ask or whatever. All right, we're going to move on to our next section. Wait, what are you doing? to get into our Geek Roundtable. This is the part of the show we talk more about the geekier aspects of our life and showing off some cool geek stuff. So, Mako, I guess you're not supposed to be here today?
Yeah, so Ari's gift, which is what these are the Dante and Randall to go with my Jay and Silent Bob. I guess the address could not be corrected in time because my mother came over on Saturday and checked the mail and found the package sitting on top of my neighbor's mailbox stating return to sender.
So you got it in the nick of time.
So yeah, so
Okay.
she saw that it was for me and grabbed it, and so yeah, so now I have Dante and Randall to go with Jay and Silent Bob.
So, but here's the funny thing though. It says return to sender. Doesn't your neighbor know who you are?
Well, I don't talk to my neighbor, but my last name is on my mailbox.
Right.
So you would think that, you know, they would look at that and go, oh, hey, the last name matches. Nope.
Because there have been times like I've gotten packages like this happened over the weekend. Like it came to 2251. I mean, that's what the number was. I'm 2257. And what the postal service, they will write on a marker the house numbers. So I guess when they wrote 2251 and when they wrote the 5 and put the 1, the postal person probably thought it was a 7. Thankfully, I know who lives at 2251 and I dropped off the package. But the thing is, I've gotten packages on my block for other people and I go and I drop it off. I'm like, I don't need this. Meanwhile, my package could have the wrong address on it and they won't return that shit.
Yeah, well, because I now have these two, I'm gonna have to get myself Elias because he's the last one in the set that I'm missing. So yeah, that's on my that is on my shopping list for this week.
And looking at that, I have to go through all of mine and just redo my list because I opened the app and it knocked out my entire inventory and I have like 3 new ones. I have 2 new ones. I have the 2 Cruella ones. So, you know, that was a great movie.
Yeah, it was.
All right. Barry, what new projects are you working on?
Just been keeping busy with some client work and kind of getting some sewing done. I haven't really been doing a lot of cosplay or anything like that, so it's been kind of quiet on my end, honestly.
Well, at least you're keeping busy with some client work, you know. That's cool.
Yeah,
it's always cool to hear that. All right. So, I don't think I showed this off yet. If I did, tell me, then I'll switch to another item. I'm still going through the figurines that I bought while I was in Japan. And I realized there's stuff I bought that was delivered before that they're still wrapped. I need to unwrap. This one was on my list. It's a Hatsune Miku figurine. This is one where she's wearing like a maid-like outfit. It's the Princess Amp version, artist masterpiece, Alice. So I guess this is like Alice in Wonderland or something like that. And the thing is, when it comes to like characters that have like hundreds of like figures to them because different outfits and stuff like Rem and Ram from Re:Zero, Hatsune Miku, and a couple of others, I'm very meticulous on which ones that I buy. Because I don't like them all, but this one I do like. And if I'm looking at it properly, like over here, for those of, like on the box, there's like a little yellow label. And this covers it's supposed to cover the price tag of the item. But I think they didn't realize there's another sticker on the side here. So this figurine, which I would love to put on display, but I don't have space for, I paid 2,690 yen for it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick conversion because if I remember correctly, when I had this on my Otaku Mode shopping list, it was like $40. And we're not talking with shipping either. Now, you can, like I said, you can always try to find these figurines on Amazon. between 35 and 45 because somewhere in there is the shipping costs they throw in. Now, nor under the current rate, whereas $1 is like 148 yen to the dollar. If I had bought this today, I would have paid $17.86. So basically, I would have paid under $20 with tax on this. I think at the time I paid roughly around that much. So I think it's really cool. And again, because of the cost, I wasn't too worried about the box being damaged because the figurine inside is okay. Because when you look at that currency price, sometimes your mind thinks that you remove the comma, you move the comma back one, and you put a dot, and you think that's the price you paid. No. I would say at least when you look at the yen price, remove a third of the cost and then move the comma to a period. That will probably give you like a better rough estimate of how much you paid. Or if you're like most of us, if you have a calculator, you could just set up the currency conversion, you can see it. So there. So there's that. I have a bunch of other figurines that I do have to show off, and I can't wait to do that. All right, so this next thing I want to talk about briefly, and I do mean briefly, and Barry, please feel free to chime in because you have been a cosplay judge. So if you want, I wouldn't mind hearing your opinion on it. But let's just kind of keep this within like a 10-minute time.
Yeah.
Right. So now the reason why I have not really talked about this because there are two people that are involved in this, and I know them personally, and I have been telling people there's more to this story. Let the drama die out. Please, let the drama die out. So, long story short, a cosplayer purchased a costume from a Russian cosplayer from Trinity Blood. I think it's Seth Nightroad is the character. So, she bought that, redid certain parts of the costume because they were in terrible condition, and entered it in craftsmanship cosplay masquerade competition. Now, here's the thing. According to her, she only asked the judges to judge her on the parts that she redid, which I think is more than fair. There have been cosplayers who have done that. Like, they've done like a costume. They may have won like an honorable mention, but they went back and touched up certain parts and just asked to be strictly judged on this. Or they have bought a costume and redid various parts of it and asked just to be judged on certain parts of it. I don't know if that's still a thing, but I know coming up in 2000s to 2010s that was a normal thing. So he had given credit to the cosplayer. Evidently, the cosplayer had changed her handle, and people were pointing this out, and both cosplayers have said their piece on it. They settled stuff in the background. Supposedly, this cosplayer had also did this again with other costumes, that she bought them and passed them off as her own. Now, the second person involved in this is a friend of mine. She bought, I think, 2 of the costumes from her, but she doesn't wear them for judging or anything. She wears them for like as a model piece or something casual to wear. Evidently, both cosplayers have been getting death threats over the whole thing. Now, there was a video that kind of broke all this down, but I'm not showing the video because I reached out to the cosplayer who did this little video, but I will talk about it. I will link it in on our Facebook page so you can check out more information about it. But she didn't get back to me in time about permission to discuss it. It'll be from a generic point of view. So my apologies about that. So now, from my understanding, because of all this brouhaha, she's basically been blacklisted from every single major competition in the country. And I have to admit, I do feel bad for her of what happened, but at the same time, there are some things you can't get away with. And this is something I've always said. If you're a cosplayer and you're going to put yourself out there and compete and do all of this stuff, you need more than just a link tree. You need a website. That way you can post the costume and just put up the track, like your online build book, so you can see the progress. Supposedly, this cosplayer created a fake build book to pass it off. A lot of what's going on, I'm just hearing, so I don't know. My main thing is it happened. Let everybody involved say their piece and let it die down and just let things happen as per. So, Barry, I was wondering, have you ever come across something like this in your years of being a masquerade judge?
No.
Okay.
And I think a lot of that is because a lot of the kids out there that are competing now,
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot more people take pride in their work, and the people that are going to want to pull the wool over your eyes are going to do it intentionally, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have heard stories of someone sandbagging
Mm-hmm.
or making no minimal to no changes to their costume and re-entering it. That's been a pretty but I'm going to tell you guys right now, if
Mm-hmm.
you go into competition and you expect to get away with this kind of thing, it's not going to happen. And the biggest reason why is because judges talk. Not only
Mm-hmm.
judges talk, but
Mm-hmm.
also the competitive showrunners and stuff also speak. Like, we also talk, like all of us do. So if you think you're going to get away with it, you're really not. And at the end of the day, you'll probably get blacklisted. You'll probably be in a situation where you won't be invited back. Heck, you might even get blacklisted from even guesting at a convention.
Mm-hmm.
It's not worth it at that point. And even if you try to make a fake build book, there's simple questions that any experienced costumer can ask you that will immediately figure out um what your real motivation is and
Mm-hmm.
like who you are as a crafter. So really don't even try. Not even once.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the anti-piracy ads
Right, right.
of the late 90s. Like you wouldn't pirate a cosplay. And I know that there was like a video by a cosplayer about plagiarism, but in this
Mm-hmm.
case, yeah, just don't even.
Yeah, because I saw a screenshot from what there 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 is a cosplay group which kind of, let me find the name of it real quick, and it just blew my mind because of the name of it, cosplay contest support group. And I'm just like, that's an actual thing, because my mind is like, is this where cosplayers go when they don't win and they need a place? I don't know, but it seems it's a lot more than that, which is really cool. And I
No,
found out, yeah,
it's really good,
yeah,
and especially if you're interested in
mm-hmm,
upping your quality of
right, mm-hmm,
costume creation
mm-hmm,
or
mm-hmm,
bettering your skill set, like how to build a build book
mm-hmm,
or how to create a
mm-hmm,
better quality costume for your level, right?
mm-hmm,
If you're going from journeyman to masters or from beginner to journeyman. It has a lot of great tips, hints. There are
yeah,
judges in there, obviously, and people who have guested before,
mm-hmm,
so they're able to kind of give you feedback and
mm-hmm,
creative criticism in order to help you better assess what you need to do and how you can better yourself as a creative.
gotcha,
And it's not just people that are working in the industry or working as professionals with these high grade studios that they do 24/7, 365, like it's their lifeblood. There are people in there also that do it,
right,
as a
yeah,
hobby,
mm-hmm, no,
as a well
yeah,
loved hobby.
and I
But that's
yeah,
pretty much it. Yeah.
and I totally get it. And from what I understand, one she was judged at the Salt Lake City at FanX Salt Lake City. Contacted New. I do know that she's basically has been banned from competing at Anime NYC. There are some that are saying they should ask her to return the award. It's already said and done. And now there are people who are keeping tabs on her at Katsucon, and it's a giant mess. I'm just saying, me personally, if it was me, I would own up to everything. I would put out like a massive explanation or whatever on my pages, and I would probably just not do conventions for a year. Let it be. Then come back next year to show my redemption, But everybody does things different. So what have we learned here? Don't plagiarize, kids. And going from that, we discover that AnimeNext 2024 is not happening this year.
Yeah.
So So sad. Too bad. Mako-chan, take it away.
Yeah, as the saying goes, fuck around and find out.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was announced on Friday that AnimeNext will be canceling its 2024 event, considering it has taken them this long to announce that when they should have already started announcing guests. But that's besides the point. So Universal Animation, the convention's parent company, quote unquote, recently faced circumstances that halted the staff's planning for 2024. As a result, the staff concluded that it would not be able to execute an event of the quality that everyone has come to expect or incorporate the feedback that came out of the 2023 event. The staff stated that it was not at liberty to discuss the nature of the matter. In related news, Media Blaster's AnimeNJ event is experiencing difficulties as its Hilton Woodcliff Lake venue is being taken down.
Oh, wow.
The staff is in the middle of looking into new locations and new dates. So AnimeNext 2023 took place in June at the New Jersey Convention and Exposition Center in Edison and at the Hyatt Regency in New Brunswick. So one convention in two completely different towns. Yeah. The AnimeNext staff called off all public-facing attractions of AnimeNext 2022, which included the in-person convention. The staff canceled the event because of issues with the Atlantic City Convention Center, which the convention had been using since 2016. The staff stated at the time that the convention center raised all prices, that the event pays by 40 to 70% because AnimeNext had not taken place in the center in 2 years, amid other reasons. The last in-person AnimeNext event before the pandemic was held at Atlantic City Convention Center in June of 2019. The convention was canceled in 2020 due to COVID, and there was an online event in 2021. Yeah, so I'm just gonna put it, fuck around and find out.
Exactly. I mean,
this is what happens when people should not be posting things publicly, because things will always get back to other people. We'll leave it at that. If you are somebody connected to a convention like this and something happens, do not say things out loud, even if you think it's private, that you do not want getting out to other people.
But I just want to know who allowed that initial post. All right, to summarize, the reason why AnimeNext is not in Atlantic City Convention Center anymore is they posted like all these reasons why, and they were basically shit talking the convention center and the people running it, and that's what happened. From my understanding, the people that were originally involved with that are no longer connected to the convention as a whole. But I do know that it is hard coded in the books that AnimeNext cannot come back. Simple as that. Secondly, whose crackpot idea was it to have a convention in two separate cities? You might think, for some cases, a convention in two separate zip codes, it's not bad. Like New York City, the con is in two separate zip codes. It's New York City. That means to get to the other zip code, you just walk 3-4 blocks. That's not that big of a deal.
It's about accessibility, honestly.
Yeah, there you
if
go.
it's not walkable, I've
Mhm.
been, because RuffleCon, which you've been to,
Yes.
Ranma, that fashion convention. There is another convention, and initially they had their tea party in a completely separate building on the other side of the city, and it was a mess because people had to get there, and of course people with disabilities and stuff, it's a lot harder to organize for. So it's one of those things. Just don't do it.
Right.
I mean, even places like Dragon Con and stuff, if it's too many buildings away, and that's local, I'm sorry, I'm tired.
It's okay.
I'm too old for this.
Have some coffee like I am. But, the fact that the convention center is in Edison and the convention hotel is in New Brunswick, that is not a 20-minute drive. There is somebody that's been a part of this show for years who can testify to that.
Yeah, no, it's If it's like dead of night, maybe 3 a.m., it's a 20-minute drive.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're talking about middle of the weekend in a city that is, you know, New Jersey's answer to New York City, where they try to, bring up tourism and crap, where certain roads are still closed because they figured out that having that road closed because of the pandemic and people eating outside and enjoying it was better than having the main road into the city open. Yeah, it's not a 20-minute drive.
Yeah. And now, from my understanding, supposedly Universal Animation owes back taxes to the IRS because they changed from a profit to a non-profit or something like that, and they owe the taxes on that supposedly. And I'm also hearing that one of the main financial backers is basically like, yeah, I don't want to put my money in this. AnimeNext, whether all that's true or not, AnimeNext is basically circling the drain. And I do understand how some people are attached to it. And I get it. But you need to realize this may be your hometown convention, but the people running your hometown convention fucked it up for everybody else. They just need to let this convention die. Then you know what you do? You recruit the people who work their asses off to do something good with the convention and build something new from it. There is nothing wrong with starting all over again. That's basically what's going to happen. Because I have this feeling there will not be an AnimeNext 2025 either.
There were pieces of it when I was a staffer, that, I mean, it's the reason why I quit.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did not like the way that things were being run, in certain aspects, and in other aspects, how things were, basically just swept away.
Mm-hmm.
But it has gotten a lot worse, and everybody complains it's because of the move to Atlantic City.
It's not really the case.
That is part of it, but at the same time, it's not like the convention had a choice.
Mm-hmm.
They, it's not even feasible to return there, even if they did a cap of some sort. It's just, it doesn't exist anymore. So you would still have to look and find someplace else to have it. Was Atlantic City the best part? The best place to do it? Probably not. But, that's what happens. Was, trying to do it in Edison and in New Brunswick a good thing? No, because New Brunswick is really not a safe area. But yeah, they just kept making bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. And it's just, at this point, they just need to, as Ranma said, just start over. Go back to basics, clean everything up, make sure that things are being done correctly, make sure that things are being done right, and then build from there.
And I see Debiri says in our chat room here at Twitch TV/Anime Jam Session, I feel bad still because years ago my old mailman used to be involved in AnimeNext. I mean, at one time I loved doing panels for them, but things change, especially when you get falsely accused of harassing a cosplayer when you actually didn't. And for those of you wondering about that, I asked the cosplayer if I could take her picture. She said, no, thank you, not interested. I was like, cool, no problem. I walked away, took pictures of other cosplayers, ran into a couple of friends of mine, and then later that evening, I left, went back to my hotel room. I go back to the convention center, check out some panels. Come to find out this cosplayer grabbed 4 of her friends and spit out the same identical story of me harassing them for photos. Because they wanted to see the pictures on my card, on my memory card. I'm like, I didn't take any pictures. No. And over these years, my emotional connection and attachment to the con slowly left. on our website, you will still find the reviews and the podcasts, but you won't find photos or videos on our Facebook or YouTube pages. So there's it, and that's that. All right. Now we're gonna move along, and Barry's gonna tell us what Funimation is up to, and some people are not too happy about that. Barry, you with us, my friend?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Sorry about that. I was talking, but my mic was muted.
Oh, okay. It
So,
happens.
for anybody that doesn't know, Funimation was bought by Crunchyroll
Mhm.
earlier last year. I know that we covered it.
Yes,
It's
yes.
been a merger that's been in the making for quite a long time.
Mhm.
And for those that don't know, both of them still had apps where you could partake in the media that both of the companies facilitated or produced, such and such. Obviously, Funimation being a production company, also hosted its own app, etc.
Mhm.
However, because of Crunchyroll's merger with Funimation, it was kind of more of an absorption, right? So it was a situation where they took on most of all of Funimation's IP.
Mhm.
In that case, Funimation is shutting down its app by April 2nd.
Mhm.
So, for anyone who has a Funimation account, it was kind of grandfathered in and understood that you would get access to your Funimation account until it closed. In this case, Crunchyroll announced on Wednesday that the Funimation app will shut down on April 2nd as part of an ongoing content and service consolidation from Funimation to Crunchyroll after the companies merged. Each Funimation subscriber can migrate their account to Crunchyroll, including their watch history and queue, or merge the account with the pre-existing Crunchyroll account if the two accounts are tied to the same email address. Crunchyroll won't support Funimation's digital copy content, and Funimation provided digital copies as part of some home video DVDs or Blu-ray disc purchases. While Crunchyroll has continued to move content from Funimation to Crunchyroll since spring of 2022's anime season, it has not fully yet transferred all of that IP and content to Crunchyroll. The Fandom Post editor-in-chief, Chris Beveridge,
Mhm.
I think his name
Beverage.
is Beveridge,
Yeah, beverage.
compiled a continuous updating list of all content that has yet to become available on Crunchyroll. In chat here at twitch.tv/anime jam session, tell me how you would pronounce this name. Beveridge. And it has yet, an Anime News Network has not verified all of the entries on Beverage's list that are not present on Crunchyroll. Sony's Funimation Global Group, wow, I can't apparently say G's back to back, completed its acquisition of Crunchyroll from AT&T on August 9th, 2021, after the company first announced the acquisition on December 2020. So you can see that it's been ongoing for a long time.
Mhm.
The purchase price was 1.175 billion with a B, and the proceeds were paid in cash at closing. And of course, they are Scrooge McDuck in it, guys.
Curse me, kilt, and bless me, bagpipes.
The home video releases are now listed under Crunchyroll. That is wild, but I'm also not surprised. But I do hope that if you have digital content, you're able to have those copies grandfathered in, if nothing else.
Let me just say this. Unless you actually paid for that digital content, you are not in a position to bitch, moan, or gripe. Here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. Funimation has never sold digital anime. Yes, you can go on the Microsoft store and buy anime from Funimation. You're not buying it from Funimation. You're buying it from Microsoft. The same could be said about Sony and other platforms, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like this. Funimation may be shutting down, but the anime that you bought from Funimation through the Microsoft store is still there. You can still watch that anime at any given time. What was lost in the translation here is that when you buy certain Blu-rays, DVDs, and box sets, you got a voucher for a digital version of what you purchased. So all this means is you got to get off your lazy ass, pull the DVD off your shelf, blow the dust off, and put it in your PlayStation or Xbox and watch it. That's it. That's all it is. Now, I understand the convenience of pulling up the app and watching it, but you still own it. So you didn't lose anything. There really is no value. This was a freebie, that's what it was. They just threw you a bone. So what if you're losing digital access to it? You still have a physical copy of the anime that you bought. And if you want a digital copy that bad, you know where to find it. We have some smart people that watch and listen to this podcast. And I get that not everybody agrees with me. And I get half the people who do not agree with me are probably picking apart what I said. I could care less. Because you need to listen to what I said in order to understand. Because again, if Funimation had a digital storefront where you can buy your stuff and this happened, then yes, I would be like, burn the site down. But what the digital stuff was just a freebie. They just threw it to you as a bone because you already owned it. That's all it is, It's sort of like when you buy a box of cereal and you get a secret decoder ring or a watch inside, and eventually they're like, the watch is not working. We can't help you with it anymore, And I see the beer, he says, unless you chuck your discs or your players like my siblings did, and I refuse to do because I believe in media redundancy. That's it. And that's what people are forgetting. Those who are upset that they don't have digital access still have access. It's a physical access. That means don't be lazy and just put it in your CD, DVD player, Blu-ray player. And let's be real, even if you don't have a next-gen console, Blu-ray players are dirt fucking cheap on Amazon, okay? Come on now. And as I saw that article, I'm going to tweet at them and explain, unless someone already did explain what I just said. And I bet you somebody's going to tweet back and say something stupid, and I'm just going to have to be like, I'm going to block you because you're ignorant and you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Enough about that. And what we're going to talk about now is how a man was given a year sentencing for threats against a voice actor, And I first heard about this, I'm like, well, and I'm thinking it's a specific voice actor. I'm like, well, I will gladly throw money to his legal defense fund, but then I realized it was not him, so it is what it is. So, as the story goes, the Tokyo District Court sentenced 25-year-old Fukuda Kishimoto to a year in prison for threatening to kill voice actress Yui Ishikawa. And for those of you who may say, her name's kind of familiar, she's Mikasa in Attack on Titan and Kiryu in Kimono Friends 2. Now, in its decision, the court noted that Kishimoto had already served time for a similar offense, but still made death threats again. He was arrested back in December and admitted to the court to posting on a message board that he would stab the voice actress with a knife and kill her earlier in the year. The prosecution requested an 18-month prison sentence, adding that Ishikawa trembles in fear at night. The defense has asked for a more lenient sentence. Police previously arrested him in June of 2020 on suspicion of intimidation and forcible obstruction of business. According to the police statement, the suspect had been threatening anime staff and cast members over the internet. According to the Sankei Shimbun newspaper and the public television network NHK, the suspect had been posting on the message boards before his first arrest. Reportedly threatened murder an anime director, as well as Ishikawa herself, along with her friends and staff members, and just wanted Now, the threats that were referenced in the July. Now, what happened here was, what's interesting is the threats that he made referenced the July 2019 Kyoto animation fire, and we all know what a giant cluster chaos that was. Now, according to the Sankei Shimbun and NHK, once the voice actors reported the threat to the police, the anime staff had temporarily halted their work. NHK identified the voice actress, and according to the investigation, the suspect admitted to the charges and said in a deposition that he had personal grudge against the director, but did not intend to intentionally hurt him. Satsuki posted in May of 2020 that he had filed a police report after receiving threats that began in April on himself and others. Ishikawa also filed a police report as well. Her roles not just include Mikasa from Attack on Titan, but Violet Evergarden from the anime of the same name, Honoka Sumura from Smile Down the Runway, and let's see, she's also done theme songs for Attack on Titan, Junior High, Heroic Age, and Girlish Number. Look, there are some animes I watch, and I may not like who they get the voice. I'm not going to go on public boards and run my mouth about it. I keep that to myself because nobody really needs to know that. And sometimes when you don't like the voice, and you continue to watch the anime, you're like, you know what? You kind of fit into it, and it happens. You know, don't do stupid shit like this, people. I mean, some of y'all have already bullied some voice actors and actresses off of social media. Y'all need to stop that shit. Someone needs to pull your anime away. Actually, your moms need to come in the room and beat your ass with a belt.
Mm-hmm.
Not enough ass whoopers in this world. Right. We're gonna kick it over to Mako because we're gonna get into her fandom.
Yeah, so after being announced in 2021, they finally have released the date of April 26th as the premiere for the Knuckles live action spin-off series.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's going to be April 26th in the United States and Canada, while the wider premiere is set for April 27th, and Japan will have the series later this year. The official trailer is out, finally, and I really don't know how to feel. So this series is going to be set between Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Mm-hmm.
The voice actors will be back in their roles. And Knuckles is going to be helping his human partner Wade learn to fight and protect himself in the struggle against Dr. Robotnik. So this will be on Paramount Plus. It's going to be 6 episodes. And as I said, I don't know how to feel.
Yeah? What makes you say that?
I like what they're doing with Knuckles, but at the same time, it just seems sometimes, I don't know, weirdly not Knuckles.
Well, you also got to take into consideration it's like the live action has its own not storyline but its own track, you know.
Oh yeah, I know, like,
Yeah.
they're pulling from a lot of
Mhm.
different aspects of the media. And you can see that in the movies. But I don't know. I have to see the series to really feel it. But I just, like, I don't know. As much as I like what they're doing with Knuckles, at the same time, I'm just kind of
Gotcha. I mean, I'll say this once, I'll say it again. I still don't like Idris Elba as the voice of Knuckles. It just doesn't fit properly. You know? It's like I was saying earlier.
I don't think it's his voice.
Right.
I don't have a problem with the tone of the voice. I have a problem with how he speaks.
Mm-hmm. Now be careful there, Mako, because again, I'm just saying this because this is pushback that I've gotten. And for those of you who are participating and those of you who know me for a long time will get what I'm going to say. When I said I don't see Idris Elba as Knuckles, there was a lot of people in the black community, the black nerd and geek community are pushing for and like are happy because he's doing no. Get someone who can do the voice right, you know? That's what they should have done.
I don't mind, like, I actually enjoy his voice, so I don't mind the voice. There's just something about the accent mixed with the tone mixed with what they're having him say that I feel is the issue.
It's a situation with the whole Chris Pratt Mario situation again, where they're just kind of shoehorning in someone famous for the famous aspect of it. Like,
but here's the thing,
Sonic was actually pretty good.
Yeah, Sonic
I don't think you really need to do that.
Yeah, Sonic was already set. I mean, Idris Elba, I've seen him in other roles. I loved him in it. But for Knuckles, no. As we said a long time ago, it should have been Chris Hemsworth. Or at least somebody with a down under accent.
Yeah, I definitely would have enjoyed having that nod to where echidnas come from. Even if it's not a strong accent, but just something other than what we're getting from Knuckles. Like it doesn't mesh well in my head.
I totally get it. All right, now we're gonna get into our last article, Kick It to Barry, then we'll get into Meanwhile in Japan.
Let's go. All right, guys. Well, there we go. If you're a fan of this, like I am, big Trigun fan, for anybody who had any doubts, Trigun Deluxe Edition manga, status updated. Now it's due out fall of this year. Both Trigun and Trigun Maximum Deluxe Editions are delayed to ensure the best quality. For those that don't know, Trigun is produced by Dark Horse Comics, and they previously announced plans to give both Trigun and Trigun Maximum, the manga Deluxe Edition, hardcover treatment. With the former scheduled to launch in December of last year and the latter scheduled for April of this year. However, plans have changed since the latest update and has both penciled for fall of this year. According to the update, they're working with the creator, Yasuhira Naitao, and licensing partners to ensure that these new editions are the best quality possible, and this is taking just a little extra time. But to be honest, with the production quality and efficiency that a lot of stuff has been coming out with, I'm still old school. I'm cool with waiting a week or two for the next episode of anime or something, as long as it's good quality and they take care of their, art team and production team. But from their Twitter posted at Dark Horse Comics, or X, excuse me. Dear Trigun fans, you may have seen that Trigun and Trigun Maximum Deluxe Editions are now expected to release in fall. They're working with the creators and licensing partners to ensure the best quality possible, and it's taking some extra time. The Deluxe Edition packs in both volumes of Trigun together in the original oversized 7x10 format is in one 672-page book. Both books are still up for pre-order, with the final cover reveals on way in the future. The original manga of Trigun ran in the pages of Tokuma Shoten's monthly Shonen Captain magazine from 1995 to 1997, followed by Trigun Maximum in Shonen ga Hosha, Young King Hours from 1997 to 2007. Madhouse produced the first Trigun anime adaptation and anime film Trigun Badlands Rumble, and Vash recently returned to the screen in Orange's Trigun Stampede.
Cool. Here's something interesting, and we'll get into Meanwhile in Japan. Looks like we're getting a new GTO series. And GTO is Great Teacher Onizuka. Looks like a live action, and Takashi Sorimachi is going to be playing Onizuka once again. That's interesting. Okay. Hopefully we'll have more information about this on next week's show. And now that we got that out the way, we're going to get into this part of the show that y'all really stick around for anyway. Meanwhile in Japan. And as before we get into deciding which articles we want, Cedarberry says, remember when the original US Trigun manga volumes came out and it was the giant volumes, but it took forever? You know what I also remember? When mangas would come out monthly and you would buy them, and then you realize in Japan, half the mangas you bought here were weekly in Japan, and you're just like, you got a long way to go to collect the entire series. Like I said, I think I have like one large bin just for Ranma one half. Hey, I'll take the second story.
Barry gets first dibs on the other two.
Yep.
Okay, let's see. Which one do I think looks the most spicy? Honestly, which one did you choose again?
I took the second story.
Kind of like the first one, honestly.
Okay.
I think it's cute. I think it's very Valentine's Day appropriate.
Yeah, it kind of sort of
I
is.
put it on there.
All right. Well, I get to do the fuzzy, wuzzy, cozy stories for you guys here in chat.
That is so precious.
So, veering very differently from love notes in a gashapon machine, a park in Japan is offering special love confession plans with 6 million lights. Grand Kokuhaku plan requires advanced check of the words you plan to confess with. I used to think it was kind of weird how places in Japan call their Christmas light displays just illuminations. But it seemed less and less strange to me as the years go by, partly because living in Japan long enough will shift your standards for English-related linguistic oddities, and also because it's now common for venues in Japan that put up lights before Christmas to leave them up for the rest of winter. That's the case with the Sagamiko Illumion, as the illumination is called at the Sagamiko Resort Pleasure Forest, an outdoor entertainment facility in the town of Sagamihara, Kanagawa Prefecture. An hour outside of downtown Tokyo, since the colorful lights make for a romantic atmosphere, Pleasure Forest's illumination continues through the Valentine's season. And to make things even more romantic, they're even offering a special grand love confession plan.
Oh, that's precious.
Or Ai no Kokuhaku Daisakusen in Japanese. So you can reveal your feelings to your crush in a dramatic fashion. Anyone who spent too much time watching romance anime, or much time watching romance anime as the article says, or Japanese TV dramas, or even K-dramas, let's be honest, will be familiar with the concept of kokuhaku, in which you directly tell the object of your affection that you like them. In the Grand Love Confession Plan, the Pleasure Forest staff will, on your signal, based on a prior consultation with you, bathe the section of the park which you will be making your confession in the light of 6 million coordinated light bulbs. Doki doki, my heart.
All right, hold up. I'm suddenly reminded of some of those 90s TV shows where one of the characters would get their friends together to do some type of crazy stunt or silly stunt so that he can impress the girl and ask her out, you know? I've suddenly reminded of that.
Proposal flash mobs.
That too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, this is very much in the vein of flash mob energy. The plan is available for one confessor to be nightly on Saturday evening, so that's why they have the reservation plan. And also on the night of February 14th, Valentine's Day. Oh, what? Because love doesn't cost a thing. There's no additional charge beyond the standard entry to the park? What? For the Grand Love Confession Plan, with only one grand confession per day, though, slots are very limited, and so an ahead of time application is required, with final selections to be made by Pleasure Forest. Applications can be submitted by email to the address and require you to provide your name, age, address, phone number, and current relationship with the person you plan to confess to. Requested on the date which you make the confession. It's wild. This is wild. It sounds romantic and adorable, and that's why I'm laughing, because I just think it's so cute.
I totally get that.
That might sound like a lot of personal information, but they want to make sure that the love is supposedly most happily to be received. In order to avoid sending out awkward embarrassment, as someone has to say, gee, thanks, but I think of you more as a friend. Also, during the promotional period, which runs from February 10th to March 9th, there will be an illuminated heart background photo spot. So cute! which appears to be available for anyone to use, even if you're not making the officially designated Grand Confession. From now until March 15th, the Pleasure Force is also offering a discount pair tickets as couples, with the timing allowing for White Day dates on March 14th. For those that are not aware, Valentine's Day is the day that women and female presenting individuals tend to present their chocolate towards their male counterparts or masculine or their beloved, right? And so White Day is the alternative. Traditionally, when masculine or the opposite party exchanges their goods for the present of affection. And finally, for those that didn't realize they'd fallen in love until a few days after White Day, or maybe just think it's entirely too cold to be hanging around outside at night this time of year on weekends and holidays from now through March 17th, the Pleasure Forest barbecue area will be offering a special collaboration of love Valentine pizza making experience from 12:30 p.m. to 2 in the afternoon. Because if there's a better sounding date idea than making chocolate and marshmallow pizza together, we haven't found it. I think that that's really cute.
You got way too giddy over that.
It's so adorable.
That's wild. I mean, I ain't hating it, but I'm just like, y'all are just a little bit too giddy.
Hey man, the world's a hairy and scary place, all right? We gotta take that happiness where we can find it.
Fair enough. So, we're going to talk about how the Yakuza extorted from ninjas. And you're probably going, wait, what? That's what I said. The Yakuza extorting from ninjas. Basically, the article says a Yakuza member was selling soda was arrested for extorting money from ninjas spreading flyers in Asakusa. And that reminds me, when I went to Kyoto, there was a store there where you could rent a ninja costume and run around the prefecture dressed as a ninja. I thought that was kind of cool. And especially since it was an older gentleman too walking around as a ninja. I was like, if he was any shorter, I would have sworn it was Happleseye. But anywho, Asakusa is a popular tourist destination in Tokyo for its convenient blend of many eras throughout Japan's history, which I will have to write down for my trip when I go back next year. And with most tourist hotspots, you're sure to find a wide variety of street vendors looking to capitalize. One such vendor is Atsushi Ogawa, who's been a fixture there for 15 years. You can see him selling ramen from a decorated stand on Denboin Street near Sensoji Temple, with an affable demeanor and warm customer service that has endeared him to visitors who often take photos and pictures of him to post on social media. He has every reason to be happy thanks to the heavy pedestrian traffic in his area, so he can sell all this ramen, and which is about 30,000 yen, which is really good. And the reason is that the 56-year-old could secure such a high lucrative spot for so long because he's known as Katayama, a high-ranking member of a Yakuza family which is affiliated with the Sumiyoshi Ka. That's a pretty good incentive not to mess with him, but it seems last September someone didn't get the memo. It was then that a 39-year-old man dressed as a ninja was handing out flyers for a ninja experience nearby, and it got too close to Ogawa's turf. Which was interesting. When I was in Takayama, there was a place called Ninja Tokyo, something like that, where it was like this whole spectacle and all of that. Didn't go, but I thought it was kind of cool. Anywho, according to reports, Ogawa told the ninja, this is where I work. If you're going to do that here, you have to pay me 10,000 yen per month. I'm Katayama of the Yaniya family. It's unclear what happened immediately after, but word got to Metropolitan Police, who arrested Ogawa on February 8th. He is currently facing charges of extortion, but denies telling the police, and he says, I was just giving him a warning because he was being impolite. Despite his denial, his arrest alone has given the police the authority to search his home and offices of his group. Reaction to the news online was largely delighted by the incident, mainly because in Japanese, Ogawa referred to the other man as Ninja-kun, which is the title of a popular game series that came out on the Famicom and MSX2 back in the day, and we're talking like 1987. Netizens had various things to say about that, such as, are the Yakuza still doing it all right? The Soda Pop Yakuza and Ninja Kun. I think there's a series in that. I'd really be worried if I was Mr. Ninja. 10,000 per month is pretty reasonable. It used to be 30,000. How do we get to the point that the Yakuza are selling drinks? It doesn't seem to be so bad, though. He probably enjoys being outdoors and meeting people, and as far as organized crime gigs go, it's safe, low stress, and it's legal. Assuming he's telling the truth about not extorting money from everybody around him. I mean, if you were in the Yakuza, you'd probably jump at a soda selling post too. It certainly beats stealing sea cucumbers from the ocean in the middle of the night. Wow. Anywho, it's all on you now, Mako.
Okie dokie.
Hmm?
Yeah, so, arrest leads to connection with over 5,000 stolen items.
Jeez.
On February 6th, the Fukuoka Prefecture Police announced that they had arrested, and referred to public prosecutors a group of 4 Vietnamese nationals on shoplifting charges. The arrest stemmed from a pair of shoplifting incidents that took place in the Mark E's
Mark E's shopping center.
Mark E's shopping center in Fukuoka City, during which the group stole items with a collective value of roughly 35,000 yen, or about $2,400.
Wow.
The group wasn't targeting compact, high-priced items like jewelry or smartphones. Instead, they hit the shopping center's branch of Uniqlo, which, as you already know, is Japan's favorite affordably priced clothing retail chain. So if you're thinking that you'd have to pile up a lot of clothing before that total hits 35,000 yen, you'd be right, as the thieves nabbed 87 items during their 2-day operation on September 26th and 29th. Yeah, so what they would do is 2 members would go into the store, fill up a shopping basket, and then out of sight of the staff and security cameras, transfer what was in their shopping basket to their personal bags, and then they'd walk out of the store, waiting for accomplices with suitcases, transfer the stolen goods, and then go back into the store and repeat the process.
Jeez.
The group, which includes both men and women, admitted to the charges, telling investigators, "We came to Japan to shoplift." As the investigation progressed, it came to light that the job was not the first heist the group had pulled, and they're now tied to 66 shoplifting incidents taking place between 2018 and 2023 in 8 different prefectures, and involving 5,237 items worth a collective 19.7 million yen.
Wow.
A portion of the goods have been retrieved and were laid out for display in the customary care and precision with which such police procedures are conducted in Japan. Yeah, that's a lot of crap.
I mean, I guess at least they were straightforward about it.
Yeah.
That digital nomad visa that's coming out is gonna hit different.
Yeah. So recovering all the stolen items is not going to be possible, not only because of the sheer number, but because the theft ring is larger than the 4 people arrested. At the very least, there are 2 other members, one person responsible for hauling the stolen items back to Vietnam for resale, and a ringleader based in Vietnam who would issue instructions on what items to steal and how much the thieves could earn from them. Nevertheless, the police are continuing their investigation and attempting to identify the identities of the remaining members. Just, that seems like so crazy that you would have somebody go into another country just to steal so that you could bring it back and sell it in your country. Like, that just seems like they would be spending more money on, getting the people into the country.
Mm-hmm. That's just wild.
That's ballsy.
People like to live dangerously.
Eh.
Anywho, we are running a little late than normal, and I do apologize for that, but I think it's time for all of us to transform and roll out and get up on out of here. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yes.
I'm ready to fall asleep with lots and lots of 50% chocolate tomorrow. I'm kidding.
Well,
Yeah, I forgot until like as I was leaving work that today was the 13th, meaning tomorrow was the 14th.
Wouldn't it be 50% on the 15th?
Some places are 50% already.
Yeah, usually they mark it on the day of or like right before.
What's like before the Rite Aid by me closed, what they were doing was as soon as the holiday candy and chocolates were coming in, it was automatically going on sale. And I'm talking 25% off right away. And that's kind of wild.
Yeah, it depends.
And as Cedabiri says, depends on the exact place. Yeah, you're right. I just figured, it's Valentine's Day. It's the 14th. Last minute sales, and the company's going to try to milk it for what it's worth. And on the 15th, half off. So, anywho. Whoa, that was way too loud. Hold on. Let me fix that. It's this. This should be this one. Is that it? There we go. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to blow anyone's ears out. So if you like tonight's show, tell a friend. They in turn will tell another friend, and so on and so forth. We're independent bloggers. We're independent bloggers, photographers, cosplayers, and all of that. What we like and don't like, we're going to tell you straight up. If you have any questions about the show, drop us a line at podcast@animejamsession.com. Again, that is podcast@animejamsession.com. We're here to believe you. Don't forget to check out our website, which is animejamsession.com, where you will find our weekly podcast, anime reviews, cosplay tips and tricks, cosplayer reviews, editorials, links to our YouTube and Facebook pages of of cosplay and convention coverage. All that and a lot more at animejamsession.com. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. You can find it on Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, and Apple Podcasts. And wait, hold on. Audio's cutting out. Hold on.
Yeah. Oh,
How's that?
I think I hear myself.
All right.
Yeah, I do.
All right. You know what it is? It's me trying to redirect all the damn audio. That's what it is. That's what's happening. All right. So I see what it is. All right. Let's move this to chat. All right. Because, I figured out what it was. Our audio is coming through the game channel, and I put the soundboard on the same channel and did not realize that. So, take two. If you like the show, tell a friend. They in turn will tell another friend, and so on and so forth. We're independent bloggers, independent podcasters, independent streamers. So what we like and don't like, we're going to tell you straight up, and that's how we roll. If you have any questions about the show, drop us a line at podcast@animejamsession.com. Again, that is podcast@animejamsession.com. We're here to believe you. Don't forget to check out our website at animejamsession.com, where you will find our weekly podcast, anime reviews, cosplay tips and tricks, cosplayer interviews, and a whole lot more. Anime reviews, editorials, all that cool stuff. So definitely check it out at animejamsession.com. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. You can find our podcast anywhere where podcasts are available, whatever you use to download. So if you're using something like Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you can find us on there. And we would ask if you can leave a review. We greatly appreciate that. Don't forget to follow us on our socials, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. It's Anime Jam Session on all three. Follow us on those so you know when we're going live, when we have new photos and videos are up, articles, all that cool stuff. And everybody that follows us on there, thank you so much. We could not do this without y'all. We're really appreciative. And if you're still here participating, don't forget to check out our tip jar down below. You can click on our Stream Element, Streamlab, or Ko-Fi link if you want to send cash our way. We appreciate that. You can also cheer us on with bits. We love that too. And you can also sub to the channel and do gift subs and so forth. Every little bit counts. We really appreciate that. Now we're going to go around the room. Last words, Mako-chan.
I am very, very tired.
Last words, Barry.
Well, I'm just starting my workday like a degenerate. See you guys tomorrow.
My last words. Well, I found out why my weight loss meds were denied. But on the plus side, I'm still feeling the after effects and I'm not eating as much, which is a good thing. So, that is it. End of list. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. Mako will be here. Barry will be in her dungeon working on some cool swag. And Ari will be here. Will you be here? We hope you are. So we can do a brand new episode and be here for you because that's what we love to do. So there's there and that's that. So last words, Mako.
Meh.
Last words, Barry.
Well, Dewdrops and Daydreamers, we'll see you next time.
My last words, I think I'm going to go ice my knee. But that is it. End of list. We'll be back next week. So I'm Ranma.
I'm Mako-chan.
And I'm Barry Mellon.
Good night. Great fight. See you next week.
Good night.
Johnny.
Say good night, Barry.
Good night, Barry.
Awesome. We're out of here. See you all next week.
This podcast has been a production of Anime Jam Session and AJS Productions. No fanboys and fangirls were hurt, maimed, shot, electrocuted, or pistol whipped in this episode. For now. The views, opinions, and thoughts expressed on this show do not reflect the staff or the network as a whole. But we're still right, damn it. For transcripts of this episode, start typing. Check us out at animejamsession.com and vognetwork.com for more information about us and other programming. Jamatane!